let's go to the pain arc. Not all 4 of them have Sage Mode. Only Christian and Naruto do. Well, actually, Jiraiya is gonna die in this timeline. Actually, Naruto's the only one gonna get Sage Mode. Remember, they all do have a quarter of the QB. So when Pain attacks the village, Christian is the first to step up to him. He goes, ah! Pain would say, universal pull, and pull him towards him. Christian would spin under him, going, water sail! It's supposed to battle the water dragon! A water dragon would come from the sky, and a paper bomb below him would explode, and then the water dragon would come in and clap on Pain. He goes, ugh! Then would say, almighty push! Christian would say, first style mud wall! But that wouldn't do anything because he'd get blasted back. He was hitting a building. Then he says, fire style, fire fists! Then rushes at him with his fist glowing, and he goes, and barrages, and trying to hit him with punches, but Pain is easily dodging, then stabs him in the arm with a black rod. He goes, damn it! Then pulls it out and throws that black rod at his head, which he dodges. Christian says, I'm losing chakra fast. He goes, gotta recover! Then speeds over, like Shoyo Hinata across the court, and goes, and punches him, but he catches it. Christian says, damn it! Christian says, here we go. Then activates chakra in his fist, so then he sticks to his hand. Then he says, almighty push. Christian would stick for a little bit, then he go, boom! Christian goes, ah! Boom, boom, boom. Then he pulls out a shuriken and throws it, going, ah! He says, basic shuriken. Christian says, nope, I'm in the shuriken. Rasen ring! And hit Pain with it. That would, also, this is the, yeah, he would hit him, going, holding off Pain. Naruto and Taruto would arrive, and they'd also come to help. Christian says, fire style, fire dragon jutsu, which is water dragon, but it's fire. He goes, a fire dragon will come and clap down on him. Christian says, then Taruto would go, lightning style, lightning palm, and just miss him, but the lightning would scratch across his face. Christian would trip him, would trip Pain, and then punch him in the face. Christian activates the QB eyes to help him out, going, ah! And punches him on the face, going, trying to hit him, and then he trips him, punching him in the face. Then Naruto would go, water style, raging wave! Taruto would go, lightning style! He says, lightning style, thunderclap! Throwing it down, shocking Pain. He goes, ugh. Then they'd all go for a strike, going, ah! Then he'd say, almighty push, blasting them all back. Kakashi would go in and help out. Christian would say, grrr, creating water kunai, going, ah! Trying to fight with them, going, dum, dum, dum. Then Christian says, here goes nothing. Says, time to use my water element to the maximum, and creates a water shuriken. Then goes, water shuriken! It's like Greninja's water shuriken, so he eats it. And he throws this and goes, ah! Ah! Then he appears to the left, throwing more shuriken, going, brrr. Then sliding under Pain, going, ah! With a kunai in his hand, he cuts off that Pain's arm. Then the 6 passive Pain would arrive, and then it gets hard. Christian is blasted back by all of them, because Naruto and Kakashi and Taruto were all knocked out by that almighty push. Christian says, Minato tries to join in, but then he's just taken out, but then there's like a barrier for him trying to get it. He says, where's Naruto Uzumaki? Because he doesn't know that other people have it. He goes, then as he chokes him against a wall, and then there's a barrier so no one can help him, he goes, oh, oh, oh. Then they pull out his tongue all the way. Christian goes, oh, oh. Then he says, then QB chakra comes around his tongue. Then he rips his tongue out of Pain's hands, and it comes right back into his mouth. He goes, he says, "You're not getting nothing out of me." As he chokes him even harder, he goes, Christian says, "You're right where I need you." He goes, "What do you mean?" Christian says, then Christian glows in chakra and says, "I've unlocked a new Kekkei Genkai." He says, "What are you talking about?" Christian goes, then Pain goes to finish him off with a black rod to the head, and I'll be right back to continue that. Then lightning swirls around him, going. Pain's hand gets shocked. He goes, "Ugh." Christian activates Godspeed and goes. He says, "What is this transformation?" But then he's instantly kicked in the face. He goes. Ugh. Christian says, with his hand out, "You're pathetic," and shoots out a lightning blast, going. He goes, but then he instantly reverts out of Godspeed. Then Pain stabs him in the chest with a black rod. Christian goes, as he's hanging on his rod. Then he extends the rod, making it bigger. As he's holding him up in the air, Naruto arrives. Naruto, enraged, comes and punches Pain in the face, knocking him back. Christian's still on a black rod. Pain says, Naruto Uzumaki, the Nine Tails. Then he would rush right at Tsunade, so that Naruto would try and attack him. Naruto, of course, does the plan, but Christian kicks Naruto out of the way, then throws Shuriken, which blocks his way. Then Christian says, "I found out this guy's secret." He says, "What is it?" Christian says, This guy has a 6-second cooldown between his attacks. And I can sense from him that he has one massive attack that can wipe out this entire village." Christian looks at him and says, rushing towards him with a flying Raijin kunai and a Rasengan in hand, he goes, then throws it at the animal path, then appears above him going, then switches instantly to a Rasen ring, then destroys the animal path, going, he says, "That's my strategy. Flying Raijin level 4. He says, "That was my strategy. To defeat the animal path, because that's the one where you get all your summonings from." He's about to summon the King of Hell, but Christian says, "Oh, no you don't," and says, "Wind style, massive Rasen Shuriken!" Because him and Naruto both mastered Jutsu, but Christian learned Rasen Shuriken along with it, going, and hits the other paths with it, while Naruto deals with the Diva path. Christian fights the other paths, going, breaking all their bones, until he finally does it. Christian falls down, though, and trips on his feet, going, "Whoa!" as he's stabbed in the back by the Diva path again. He goes, but then he glows again. But not in Godspeed. In red chakra. Then he has claws on his fingernails grow. His eyes turn slit-like. he goes, and turns into the one-tailed state. Then he goes into the four-tailed state. He'd go and punch him right in the face, going, and this four-tailed form would absolutely body him. Then he'd go into his six tails, going, then he would absolutely wreck Pain. Then he'd finally go, but then something went. Then he would be put into planetary devastation while Naruto fights the Path. He goes, but then he had grown to the eight-tailed form. But then someone appears in his psyche. It's Hamura Otsutsuki. He goes, Christian says, but I'm not a Hyuga, how are you here? He says, doesn't matter if you're a Hyuga, I'm here to bless you with ancient eyes. That'll help you win this fight. Christian says, really? He says, yes. He puts his hand over his head, then he opens his eyes, they're glistening blue, with lines in it with like with a white pupil, and he's got the Tenseigan. He goes, He says, what are these eyes? But then his hair starts to go black. And Christian says, what is this? Is this a side effect? Hamura says, yes, you will have black hair from now on. Then Christian says, is there any way to reverse it? He goes, no. He says, try and activate Tenseigan Chakra Mode. Christian goes, activating Tenseigan Chakra Mode. Christian says, but why would I have this? Aren't I an Uzumaki, so why would I have this Hyuga Gon? He says, well, here's the thing. I chose you as my reincarnation, and you have an antsy-weensy bit of Otsutsuki blood, so head down there and destroy it. Then the Nine Tails would be suppressed. Christian would appear into normality, standing above it, with his Tenseigan eyes, while Naruto is lying there defeated. Christian looks at him, blitzing down in a tan light, not tan, but you know, a teal light, appearing behind him in his Tenseigan Chakra Mode, going, He says, weak. Then Pain falls to the ground, going, Christian throws a kick at him, launching him, then says, absolutely bodies Pain. Then he creates like a giant sword that cuts the Leaf Village in half, also killing Pain, going, then he takes a black rod and stabs it into himself. Then he looks for the senses for the chakra, and then he flies over, opening it up, turning on his Tenseigan mode, and his Tenseigan is gone, and it's just his normal eyes. Christian does a Talk No Jutsu on him. Even though it's Naruto specially, he does his own Talk No Jutsu. But then he realizes that his eyes are gone and he no longer has them, and his hair back to red. He says that Christian says how he's gonna change the shinobi world, him and his family are. And for pervy sages will. Nagato smiles, saying, I have a gift for you. Christian says, what is it? He puts his hand out and blesses his eyes and gouges out his eyes. Christian goes, and he can't see anything. Then he implants the Rinnegan in him. Christian goes, Then Hamura appears right next to Christian, saying, oh yeah, the Tenseigan was just a power-up. Now that you have Rinnegan, Hagoromo appears on him and puts his hand on his shoulder, adding the chakra, making it one-eyed Rinnegan, 6 Tomoe. Which means Christian can unlock the Susanoo. And with also this, his 6 Tomoe Rinnegan, he's got all the abilities, and also he's insanely stronger. Christian opens it up as Nagato dies. Oh yeah, and also Hamura blesses him with Rinnegan Chakra Mode, which is Nine Tails Chakra Mode but it'll take him a while to earn it. It'll take him a while to earn it. So when he's finally ready, he will awaken Tenseigan Ninetales Chakra Mode. And it'll be a purple version of the Tenseigan mode that you just had. Christian is smiling, saying, "Thank you, Nagato. Thank you, guys." Then they say, "We're leaving now." Then they disappear. Christian opens it up and heads, and then falls and lands on Minato's back as he brings him to the Leaf Village. As everyone's already celebrating for Naruto, because he also did it. But they're waiting for the real hero. Then he arrives going, "Hi, everybody." But he has his eyes closed since he can't really see anything right now because the eye transplant did hurt. Christian usually keeps his eyes closed, and now he can just see with his chakra control. But then, 3 Cloud Ninja would come to the Hidden Leaf Village as it's being rebuilt. They come to Leaf Village, and Danzo would for some reason be named the 6th Hokage because Minato was out of commission after losing to Pain. And so was Tsunade. So after the defeat of they'd come and blah blah blah, and he'd beat the crap out of Naruto, and Karin and Karui would beat the crap out of Naruto because Naruto wanted to save Sasuke's sake, even though Sasuke didn't do it. Christian says, "Who could have done?" Then when he's walking, well, actually, no, they wouldn't beat up Naruto yet. Well, Christian's walking in the village, he actually bumps into them, actually bumping into them, not like just walking into them, like physically walks into them and falls. He goes, "Ugh." He says, "Sorry about that, I can't really see." Dari, or whatever the boy's name is, says, No, it's okay." She says, "You peasant, you know we are Cloud Ninja." Christian says, "Does it look like I care?" And they see his face and he doesn't give a crap. She says, "Why, you little..." Then goes to punch, but he catches it, saying, "Please don't make this harder than it has to be. Why are you here now?" He says, Do you know where..." The lady, the other one with the blonde hair, says, "Do you know where Tsunade is? Or the 4th Hokage?" Christian says, "I don't know, I can't see. I'm using this blindfold and I can only sense chakra." He says, "Why are you using it?" He says, "Because I just got an eye transplant, so I'm waiting for the pain to stop, and I have to keep a cold, dry cloth over it, or a cold cloth over it, so that my eyes don't feel pain when the transplant is happening." He says, "So I don't really know, but if I'm gonna guess," he points to the Hokage Tower. He says, "That's where I think it is. I can't see." She says, but he doesn't even point there. He points the other way. They say, "That's not the Hokage Tower. That's just rubble land." He goes, "Damn it." Karui punches him in the face, saying, "Listen, just tell us where it is and take off that stupid blindfold." As she pulls it off, she sees he has purple eyes and all that crap. She says, He says, "Ah, great, you made me take it off. Now give me it back." Then he gets a shock in his eyes. He goes, he says, "I need that back now." Then she throws it and he goes, "Damn it, now I can't see." Then he sends chakra all the way home. Then he walks there. Without seeing, then he tries to open the door, but then actually breaks the window. She says, Kushina's worried that someone just broke into their house. So is Minato. Minato gets a kunai ready and he sees Christian there, but he has his eyes locked. He says, "I need another dry cloth. Some stupid Cloud Ninja came and threw it off my face." She says, Here. Then they place it around and he goes, "That's much better." He says, "So why were these Cloud Ninja doing here? Your father's out of commission." He says, "And so is Lady Tsunade." Christian says, "They were looking for the current Hokage." Something about how Sasuke did something to some shinobi, to the 8-Tails Jinchuriki, and how they want him killed. And they're coming to hunt him down. Let's just go into the 5 Kage Summit. To the Land of Iron, Christian would head out with Naruto and Kakashi. having to hold on to someone, like maybe like put his hand on their shoulder, so he can see. Don't worry, he's really good in battle. He just can't really direct his way. It's really funny. He gets used to it. A couple of minutes later, he can finally walk normally, but with his blindfold on. And he's directing. Sometimes he runs into trees, going, "I hate this." Then they run over to stop the Raikage, saying, "Please." Naruto begs, saying, "Please, don't kill Sasuke. He did later re-decision. Sasuke was in the Leaf Village the entire time. He couldn't have done it." He says, "I don't care. I've made up my mind. Sasuke Uchiha will be dead." Krishna appears in front of the Raikage, saying, "Please, don't do this. With all the respect in the world, like Lord Raikage, please don't do it." He says, "I've made my decision." Then Daori and CEO say, "Respect the Raikage." Person says, "That's it. If you don't want to do this the normal way, I guess we'll have to fight." He says, Christian says, "My eyes are just about ready." With this, he can finally use Chidori and all that crap, and all like the Uchiha techniques because he's got Rinnegan. He says, "Ha, you think you can stop me, the Raikage?" Christian says, "Such a big ego for a Kage." I expected that from the Cloud Village. As he pulls off his blindfold and reveals his 6-tomo Rinnegan, and says, let's do. The Raikage gets a little nervous after seeing the Rinnegan. He goes, "Ugh," appearing right in front of him. Kristen says, "Almighty push," blasting back the Raikage into a tree. He goes, "Ugh." Kristen says, then he appears behind him. Kristen jumps behind him and says, "Oxon Chidori," blasting him back. He goes, Christian says, "If I win this fight, you leave Sasuke alone." He goes, "Fine, whatever." He goes, says, "Lariat!" Hits Christian, but he doesn't even. But then he just phases through him. He goes, "What the?" Christian says, then Christian, with a black rod, stabs him in the arm. He goes, "Ugh." Then he kicks him in the face, making the Raikage go on one knee. Then he pulls out another one, stabs him in the arm. He goes, "Ugh." Christian says, "Stupid peasant." Then launches him in the air with a kick. He goes, "Ugh." Christian pulls out a thing and cuts off the Raikage's arm, going, "Shoom." He goes, "Ugh." See, heals it. Christian says, then says, "Amaterasu." Because remember, you can use Amaterasu with the Rinnegan. Burning the Raikage, he goes, "Ugh," but luckily he's a clone. He was a clone until the Amaterasu was launched. He switched with the clone when the Amaterasu was launched. Christian looks behind him and sees that, and then gets punched in the face, launching him back. He goes, but then he just goes doom doom doom, landing on his feet. He says, "Universal pull," pulling him towards him, then punching him in the gut. Then he says, then he kicks him back, saying, then he has the Raikage at his knees, saying, you better pray to God before I rip out your soul." He says, "Do it, I dare you. You'll be hated by the Cloud Village." Christian says, "I don't care," and puts his hand out to rip out his soul. Well, actually, Christian says, "Show me a shadow clone and I'll prove to you that I can rip out your soul." He goes, "Fine." Then creates a clone. Christian rips out its soul, going, "Ah!" He says, "No way." Christian stops time and then brushes the Raikage, going, then punches him so hard that the Raikage dies. Almost dies. He goes, taking all these punches, being launched back. And that's it for this part.